Thank you, Gwen. And thank you, Heather. I'm regularly telling my kid that singing in church is the place to get your start. She says she wants a YouTube channel, so you got to start in church. What a gift that we have this beautiful circle and that we can be here together like this, and also that we have the live stream for those who couldn't get out today. So welcome again as you are on this second Sunday of Epiphany in the liturgical calendar and a special weekend in our country. I invite you now to let yourself arrive a bit more fully. Take some deeper breaths, breathing out worry, breathing in peace. And I will share this prayer from Psalm 19. God, may the words of my mouth and the meditations of all our hearts be acceptable in your sight, our rock and our redeemer. Amen. The judgment of God is upon the church as never before. If the church today does not recapture the sacrificial spirit of the early church, it will lose its authentic ring, forfeit the loyalty of millions, and be dismissed as an irrelevant social club with no meaning. I meet young people every day whose disappointment with the church has risen to disgust. I hope the church as a whole will meet the challenge of this decisive hour. These are words from the letter from Birmingham jail by the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., written in the late summer of 1963. He was calling upon the church, specifically what he called the white moderate, to understand what their calls for patience and finding the right time meant to people of color. He wrote, "I've almost reached the regrettable conclusion that the Negro's great stumbling block in this stride toward freedom is not the white citizen's counselor or the Ku Klux Klanner, but the white moderate, who is more devoted to order than to justice, who prefers a negative peace, which is the absence of tension, to a positive peace, which is the presence of justice, who constantly says, I agree with you in the goal you seek, but I cannot agree with your methods of direct action. They say to him that he should wait for a more convenient season. And he went on to write, shallow understanding from people of goodwill is more frustrating than absolute misunderstanding from people of ill will. Lukewarm acceptance is much more bewildering than outright rejection. They wanted him to wait, to find a more convenient season. And he was calling upon them to see that peace, the peace they had was a negative peace, one that required non-white people to passively accept injustices. And what was needed was a positive peace in which there is the presence of justice, but they wanted him to wait. And he was still calling upon them to see him and the movement as one in which all humans are seen as what we heard from the Psalmist, that we are wonderfully made. Because our God knows none of us need to wait to hear that we are wonderfully made. And even now it feels sort of like a wild, radical vision that each and every human being is wonderfully made, worthy of existing in the world. On this weekend where we celebrate the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the idea that we are each worthy of existence, worthy of bodily autonomy, worthy of freedom, worthy of having a place at the table or a seat in the House of Representatives, whatever we call it, the name for God, all of us are worthy. And today I'm wondering, and this weekend I'm wondering, how would the world be different if we lived as if everyone and believed everyone was truly wonderfully made? Think of all the beauty that is missed, all the harm caused when we can't marvel at one another's beauty just as we are, the creations that we are. And I think of all of the creation that is being destroyed because we aren't in awe enough, that we aren't mindful of the beauty that surrounds us, that how wonderfully made all of this is. And here's the radical message I have for each of you today. And I'm sorry if you've spent a lot of time in church and haven't heard this, but you are beautiful. And you are wonderfully made, just as you are. If no one's ever told you that, let's make a point of telling one another that this year. As we heard from this poem by Khalil Gibran on beauty, it is everywhere. And I fear with all that's going on in the world, sometimes we miss it. But it isn't everywhere, like a garden forever in bloom, or like angels that are always in flight. It cannot be stopped or hidden. As the poet said, beauty is kindness. It is in bravery. It is bold and soft. It is in the leaves and the snow and the mirror reflecting eternity. This place, this planet, each of us, you are beautiful and wonderfully made. So when one of us isn't being treated as beautiful and wonderfully made, it will find its way to the rest of us eventually. People and places, policies and programs with wounds left untreated will eventually make their way to all of us. Part of what was making the white moderate so mad at Dr. King and the movement at that time was the nonviolent direct action they were taking, like refusing to move from lunch counters. While it didn't involve weapons, it publicly challenged the idea that only some people were worthy to sit there. It was loud about the injustice, and maybe they were annoyed by how shamed they felt seeing it all like that out there. They were saying with their bodies, refusing to move from their stools, we are beautiful and wonderfully made. We are worthy. We are a diverse church in a variety of ways, if you don't already know that, including how we understand the nature of a deity and whether there even is one. But what a glorious and sacred revolutionary thing to be committed to the beautiful, worthy existence of each one of us. What a gift to show up here each week and remember that we are each worthy and beautiful. Maybe this is the opposite of the created idea, that doctrine of original sin. Here at Community UCC, we believe in the doctrine of original beauty. Knowing each of us arise from different places and perspectives, we're going to reflect now, as we're comfortable and as we're moved, for 2 minutes over these questions. Did you grow up thinking you were worthy just as you are? Do you feel beautiful? Why or why not? And I was surprised at the awkwardness that emerged earlier when we asked some of these questions, so this is good for us to explore. What do you think about how the church could rise to meet the challenge of this decisive hour? And maybe you'll just spend all the time exploring whether or not you feel beautiful. That right there could be a whole rich exploration. So again, the spirit of this is share as you're moved. If you're more in a listening energy today, just find somebody who's willing to talk, and I guarantee you'll find that person. So have at it. This was a juicy topic. I love what I heard. So anything worthy of being reported back or shared with the whole group? Philip?
I think for myself especially, and Gwen felt the same way, and I'm sure many of us do, that we were not comfortable. We didn't feel beautiful as we were, growing up. And then as adults, accepting for myself, accepting who I am, despite all my faults, and constantly beating myself up over stupid stuff.
I think a lot of us would relate to that. Philip was sharing how, like many of us, didn't grow up feeling beautiful, and that's like a lifelong project to live into a different way of being. And I was sharing that in my life, it was kind of the background noise of misogyny all the time, like women are bad drivers, or, just all the stuff. And so it took a while to sort through that, right? To find out what does that look like for me? Anybody? Yeah, Andy.
Or the flip side of that, you can call a man beautiful, not going up.
Excellent point. Maybe that was some of what I was feeling earlier. You are beautiful, Andy. And why do you think that is? That's become a gendered term even?
Well, yeah, just elaborate on that. Just that there's in the whole, they're really putting people in the category that is racist, right?
Beautiful. Anything to add? Anybody else? Yeah, John.
No, we talked about beauty in our society is visible. There's so many of us included that it's hard to see it beyond just the beauty of something.
That's partly why I love the being in awe. There's something visceral about that that's more than just visual. Good point. Yes, Madeline.
I am very visual, and I see people. What I love is diversity. It's boring if we all look the same. I also remember stereotypes like in high school. The kid would get best looking, right? That kind of stuff. And sometimes it was so smart. And so I look at people physically, and I'll notice a smile, or I'll notice the eye, or I'll notice a nose. I mean, that's just how I view the world. I like it. And then I like to see people that they're doing, and they told me I really want to. And it's part of his whole persona, and that diversity and that color of all of us. I love it.
And thank you for those who didn't hear. Diversity is beautiful. The variety is beautiful. And I regularly just celebrate that it's a miracle that any of us are here at all, that this combination of cells came together for all of us to be here. So that alone is beautiful, that we get to have this experience and be here like this. Anybody else? Well, beloved of God, let us not miss reminding one another, you are beautiful. You are wonderfully made, just as you are. May it be so. Amen. Greetings to you wherever you are watching this. For those of you whom I have yet to meet in person, I'm Reverend Nicola Marsh, pastor here at Community UCC. And we see that people like you are watching our live stream each week. And because of this, we are excited to be embarking upon an experiment. And we need you. If you are engaging with us regularly, finding meaning in what we are about, we would like to extend a special invitation for you to be among the first CUCC digital disciples. For signing up for just $10 a month, you will receive a t-shirt with the new CUCC logo. And we are also exploring the idea of offering other content to those of you who are part of this new and growing area of digital ministry. Sign up to support us in this new way at cuccboulder.org/support by clicking on the yellow donate tab and noting you are a digital disciple in the instructions. Or as always, we welcome an old-fashioned check mailed to us at CUCC,
P.O. Box 3646, Boulder, Colorado 80307. Thank you for being and building beloved community with us, and thank you for your gift, whatever it might be.